Well, I will leave that. Who they are? Well, from this podium, there was a statement that the attackers are no longer script kiddies. Well, definitely they are, but they are rather young. Well, I made summary. Well, 60-year-old hacker, well, perhaps, but not likely. Why? The reason is simple. Cyber terrorism, the basis of the terrorism, cyber terrorism attack is radical opinion. And when you're growing older, usually your ideas are becoming softer. You start understanding that cats are predominantly gray. They are not white, they are not black. They are usually somewhere in the middle. So rather, young people tend to be behind those attacks. Now, also, who is behind those attacks? Any radical position. It may be pro-life, pro-American, or anti-American, and any religion, being major or minor. The final possibility. But this is an interesting case. How to label that sort of activities? Somebody wants to make a mess in a tunnel. Well, is he or she cyber terrorist? Is that person cyber warrior? Is that person a cyber criminalist? Is that person simply a hacker? Or it is simply a stupid joke? Well, this is, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps the most important message which I would like to leave with you. Action may be exactly the same, but motives is something which may determine any of those activities. I erected those speakers, and I had a clip from Die Hard 4, which shows exactly that moment when the programming starts to change the street lights, traffic lights in this under river tunnel in this film. But because I'm running out of time, well, okay. Bruce Schneier, which I believe everybody knows his name, in 2003 said that the issue of cyber terrorism is overhyped. Well, I don't know. Here is the number of reports which came to the New Zealand electronic crime lab. I have official statistics to 2003. I spoke with them, and this graph will jump over this ceiling on this for the next years. They are flooded with cases. What they are, as you notice, those cases doesn't include a lot of cyber terrorism activities. They are just a typical activities of a typical criminals. I mean, these are the cases when the lab was involved with. So, not much room for cyber terrorism. Cyber terrorism are not reported. This is a copy from a CSI report. They are afraid of showing negative publicity, and they don't believe that the police is really efficient in persecuting the criminals. Well, what are the responses? Because this is perhaps the other important part of my presentation on which I will conclude this presentation. In many countries, I listed those countries because I know personally those centers, USA, Norway, New Zealand. There are special centers for handling critical infrastructure protection problems. There are crime units attached to every national police, and they are, of course, of a different type. It may be cyber security, that may be just electronic crime lab, or maybe organized crime unit, because they are mostly using information technology. There are a number of agencies which monitors international traffic. MI5, this little numbers is stood for Government Communication and Security Bureau. That is the equivalent of MI5 in New Zealand. They are trying to trace international movement of those attacks. As a matter of fact, those centers start cooperating very closely.